This is KTN News.
It is the 9th day of May 2017. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on KTN Newsdesk, where we take a look at stories that are making headlines today. Among the things that we are focusing on today is Parliament resuming, and among the top of the agenda would be the high cost of living. Our senior reporter Rita Tinina will be speaking to us from our City Centre studio about some of the expectations we have to come out of Parliament. Elvis Koske will be speaking to a number of Kenyans down in Uasin Gishu County. Remember, this is one county that is the breadbasket of the country. We would really like to hear what residents there are saying about the high cost of living and Parliament today, what they expect to come out of it. We are also focusing on the Wiper Party meeting at the Bomas of Kenya. Our political reporter Murimi Mwangi is there on standby for us. He will be telling us about some of the engagements. And of course, we would like to get a number of reactions after Mudhama, the senator for Machakos, resigned from the party and from his senatorial bid for that particular matter. Murimi Mwangi will be speaking to us later on. Good afternoon. My name is Akisa Wandera. Well, all eyes will be on Parliament as members of Parliament seek to find ways of lowering the cost of living for millions of Kenyans. The lawmakers will debate the supplementary budget that is meant to cushion Kenyans from the high cost of living occasioned by increased prices of essential foods. Our senior reporter Rita Tinina now joins us from our City Centre studios. Rita, thank you very much for joining us here on KTN Newsdesk. What are some of the expectations for this afternoon session? Well, Rita, thank you for joining us. What do Kenyans really expect to come out of this?
A very good afternoon to you on this very hopeful afternoon for many Kenyans. And this is after President Uhuru Kenyatta on Saturday at the Bomas of Kenya, when the Jubilee delegates were endorsing him as their candidate for the presidency this year, said that he would use Parliament, have the government introduce a supplementary budget bill that is expected to cushion Kenyans against the high cost of living. But that supplementary budget may not be a quick fix as many Kenyans are expecting. The House resumes today after 1 month. It has a very loaded agenda. There are 18 bills that have been classified as priority business. These include the finance bill, there is the energy bill, there is the health bill, there is the two-third gender bill, there is also the bill to nominate members to the East African Legislative Assembly, and then there is the division of revenue bill. And this is where the controversy is. The supplementary budget will be anchored on the division of revenue bill, and this is a bill that has been lost. Remember, when the budget was read, this division of revenue bill had come before the National Assembly. Members of the National Assembly resolved that 323 billion shillings of the 1 trillion shilling Kenyan budget should go to the county governments. The division of revenue bill decides what funds, what resources which have been gathered nationally should go, what percentage should go to the county governments, what percentage should remain with the national government. So the National Assembly decided that 323 billion shillings should go to the counties. When that bill went to the Senate, senators resolved that instead of the 323 billion shillings, 352 billion shillings should go to the counties and the rest remain with the national government. And so there was no concurrence there. And when such a thing happens, both houses need to have concurrence. And speakers of both houses, Senate and the National Assembly, have to nominate a mediation team And this was appointed, but it did not come up with a resolution. It did not come up with a report. The time within which it should have made the report back to the House lapsed on the 30th of last month. And so that bill was lost, meaning that the supplementary budget that the government hopes to introduce before the floor of the House, and which the division of revenue bill will be anchored upon, will not be as easy. The members of parliament may have first to consider the division of revenue bill, and so the supplementary budget may not, even if the House agrees that the supplementary budget should be affected, they will have to first of all consider the division of revenue bill. The government is looking at several options. One of them will be perhaps to reallocate resources to the sectors that deal with food. Already the measures that the government has taken have not borne any fruit. There is the importation of cheap maize from Mexico. There is also the allowance of millers to buy maize from the National Cereals and Produce Board. That has not worked. And so eyes are on the supplementary budget. But even then, if the government then decides we will not go through the division of revenue bill, this is a national emergency, will seek a shortcut, even then the bill has to go the normal procedure. It has to be published, it has to then be introduced before the floor of the House, go through the first reading, go for public participation before it comes back for the second reading and the third reading. So for many Kenyans who perhaps were looking to this afternoon to see what the government will do and expecting that the prices of commodities will go down in a few weeks, that may not happen. And members of parliament, they will be going on recess on the 15th of next month. That means that they have 38 straight days. But considering that they only sit 3 days in a week, that is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, then they have 18 days to consider the 18 bills that are before the floor of the House. After that, maybe they can be recalled on special sittings. But there's also the issue of quorum in the House. Remember, this is the electioneering period. Many of them will be conducting campaigns. There are those who have already lost in the primaries. And so the floor of the House, in the House, there may be a quorum hitches, and how fast these bills are considered, maybe the country can only wait and watch.
All right, Rita, thank you very much for that update. That's our senior reporter, Rita Tinina, who will be covering, of course, the Parliament this afternoon as it resumes. So we will definitely have more updates for you. Now, the high cost of living has affected millions of Kenyans in different sectors, including those in the North Rift, a region considered the breadbasket of the country. Elvis Koske is now joining us from Eldoret for views. A very good afternoon to you, Eldoret. What exactly are residents in Eldoret saying about the high cost of living, and what do they hope that Parliament will do to address it?
Thank you very much, Akisa, and here at Kaplombe Ward, Uasin Gishu County. As you can see, farmers are busy in their farms, but I'm going to just collect a few reactions from Kenyans here pertaining the high cost of living. I'm aware that the Treasury CS Henry Rotich is working on a bill that is meant to further reduce the high cost of living. But also, I'm aware that the lawmakers are meeting in Parliament today. This is meant to cushion Kenyans at the eye of the essential commodities that they have been experiencing over the years. Labda niweze kuzungumza na wewe, tunaona kwamba mmekuwa mashambani na leo wabunge wanaweza kukutana katika bunge. Je, unatarajia nini iweze kufanyika ili kiwango cha labda uchumi iweze kurudishwa chini?
Mimi yangu yenye ningependa kuongea wanapoenda kwa bunge waweze kukumbuka upande wa unga. Maanake sisi ni wakulima, tunalima na vifaa vyetu zinapandishwa bei. Sasa tunashindwa tutakula ugali ama tutalimba mimea yetu ikienda wapi? Watupunguzie unga plus na sukari. Maanake tunashindwa economy yetu ya Kenya. Tunafanya kazi gani? Tutaishi katika maisha ya kuhangaika ama tutaishi katika maisha ya kupandishwa ama kushukishwa chini? Tunataka serikali tusaidie, hasa kama sisi wakulima zaidi. Tunalima na tufaidike katika ukulima yetu.
Ndio, labda niweze pia kuzungumza na wewe.
Yes, sasa sisi kama Wakenya tumeangamia sana kwa sababu ya unga iko juu na sukari, na tunapandishiwa vitu. Hata sisi, hata watoto hata hawezi enda shule kwa sababu hakuna pesa, na fertilizer pia iko juu. Sisi tunalia kinyumbani, watupumuzi ugali tu na sukari. Yeah.
Labda mkulima na kuona unapambana hapa, wewe unasemaje kuhusiana na hilo?
Wacha mimi nimehangaika, ugali pekali, hata tumbo mko njaa, na sukari naye hata chai chaonja. Woi, wabunge mtari kuangalia sisi baba, kwa sababu tunaumia kidogo. Jaribu kuangalia hapa, naenda huko kukula pule tu, mnaona tumbo zinahangaika. Hata nimeumia kwa sio asubuhi, hata maziwa sichaona, sukari yenyewe tabu, watoto ndio wanalia nyuma yangu. Naumia Kenya. Wajameni wabunge, mjaribu kuangalia sisi kwa sababu tunaumia zaidi. Kama haswa sisi wakulima wachache tuko chini, tumeumia. Hata mbolea yenyewe niliweka kwa samba, mahindi yenyewe imekauka, sasa nashindwa nitarudia ingine ama nitaenda kununua kwa sukari na unga. Wajameni mjaribu kuangalia unga na sukari bane. Tunaumia.
Ndio. Labda also bringing the managing director of Kerio Valley Development Authority. I'm aware that you've been working on different projects, including the Weiwei irrigation project. And one of the key reasons President Uhuru Kenyatta raised is that the drought that we've experienced is one of the reasons that we have experienced the high cost of living. What is the Kerio Valley Development Authority doing about this?
Thank you very much. We've had, it's true, it's been a very long spell of drought and there's been no rain for almost 6-7 months now. And the country has been relying mainly on rainfall and rainwater for farming. And that has not become tenable, especially when we have a drought like now. So in Kerio Valley, what we're doing as a Kerio Valley Authority is that we are giving alternative farming mechanisms through irrigation. Because with irrigation, it does not matter whether there's rain or not. All you need to have is to have sufficient water reservoir, and you use this water then to do irrigation. Especially we are doing it under gravity, it's much cheaper. And this is what we are doing in Tigor, in West Pokot, where we have 800 acres. And even during the drought, the people in Pokot were harvesting maize. We actually harvested maize 2 months, 1.5 months ago. And now they are doing another crop, which should be mature in 3 months. And then we've expanded this farm by another 800 acres to achieve about 1,500, which if it will be, which will be ready in the next 2 years. And in these 2 years, 1 year actually, because it's already 1 year down the line, we should be able to have about 1,500 acres that should produce almost 4,000 tons, slightly over 4,000 tons annually. And this is the way to go. For us to address the issue of food security, we should be looking at moving away from rain-fed farming to irrigation. And this is possible in Kerio Valley, it's possible in the coastal area, it's possible also in northeastern. And I believe what Parliament is going to do today is a short-term measure to address the issue of food security and also prices of food. But then in the long term, I would suggest, and I think this is also in the government strategic plan, that we look at investment in water sources so that we store enough water. When it's, during rain, we store enough water, either building dams or building weirs, and using this water then to irrigate land. And then we can get continuous and sustainable food supply for our country, both for the local consumption and also for export. The other issue that needs to be addressed is the cost of inputs. What we've been seeing, like I hear a lot of issues of the cost of sugar being very high. It's because of the land tenure system. It's because of the size of the land that is being used to grow sugarcane. And it's also an opportunity through irrigation that we can do large-scale sugarcane farming. And in hot areas and under irrigation, sugarcane can grow within 8 months. Compared to the 22 months, 18 months in the current sugarcane belt, which takes longer time, very low sucrose content. If we can do irrigation in the lowlands, it matures in 8 months. At the same time also, it has a much higher sucrose content. And the cost of sugar, the cost of production of sugar then becomes very low. It can go as low as 20 to 15 shillings.
All right, Elvis, because there Kosgei there, seeking a number of views from the residents of Uasin Gishu County, specifically Eldoret Town, on the high cost of living. Residents remaining hopeful that Parliament, as it resumes this afternoon, will do something to cushion the high cost of living. But away from that, IEBC has today launched the Election Security Program to ensure that elections are held in a peaceful environment. The plan involves multiple agencies that will work together to ensure that the elections are held in a peaceful environment and that law and order will be maintained before, during and after the elections. Let's listen in to some of the measures that have been put in place. And meanwhile, IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati says official campaigns will begin on May the 28th. Let's take a look.
On our part, as the judiciary, we have already appointed and trained 92 special magistrates under the auspices of the Judiciary Committee on Elections to hear and determine election offences-related cases. This Act, Election Offences Act, targets those who are bent on subverting the will of the people. As we all know, elections are not an individual matter. They impact on the citizenry of this nation, and therefore it is in mind that we have trained these magistrates countrywide.
In the year 2010, after the promulgation of the new constitution, we in the police and other entities commenced this exercise that we saw its fruits with a very successful, in relative terms, in the 2013 general elections that, compared to the previous exercises, went off very, very well. I want to make just a couple of remarks related to today's event.
Indeed, as a commission, we are concerned enough to ensure that we take part in establishment of systems that guarantee fairness in the electoral process and also deal firmly and decisively with any threats of violence that may occur. Of course, the mandate of IEBC arises from the Constitution, which confers on us the role of managing elections. As a commission, it's our duty to do so without people being intimidated with threats or violence or coercion.
Let's now take a short break here on KTN Newsdesk. Don't go too far. We still have a lot lined up for you.